Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about Ruth. Um, and the first thing I want to start out with is the meaning of her name because it's something actually really interesting. And her name means companion, friend, and vision of beauty. Um, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have read the story of Ruth, and the name companion and friend is exactly what she was, a very faithful companion at that. So her spiritual life was something that was really interesting to me because the moment we first read about her, we see that her life kind of starts out kind of crappy, as a good way to put it. Um, her mother-in-law loses her husband and her sons within a matter of years, and it's just this really sad beginning to her life story. Um, you know, Ruth loses her husband, and she's in this new territory, and Naomi tells Ruth to go back to her hometown or her homeland, um, because there was nothing keeping her there anymore. But Ruth decided to stay with Naomi, and she said a really heartwarming thing. If I can find it. She could have gone back 100%. She dropped everything to stay with her mother-in-law. So in verse 15 of Ruth 1, she says, "Look," said Naomi, "your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her." But Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me and be ever so severely, if even death separates you and me." It's incredible, really, to hear this girl that's going to leave her family and her life behind to stay with her recently deceased husband's mom. It's just crazy how much that she sacrificed because she felt the need to be faithful to Naomi and stay with her and be her companion and friend. So Ruth faithfully did everything. She did everything faithfully. She stayed with Naomi faithfully by her side through her entire life. And she also faithfully gleaned the fields. Now, gleaning the fields means, going through wheat and gathering food. And Ruth faithfully and continually did this and provided for her and Naomi. To me, it was really interesting to read about her because she lost so much and gave up so much, but yet she faithfully kept pushing through even the bad. And I think that's something we can all learn through. At our age, most of us have gone through things that stink and suck, but Naomi just is a great example of turning a bad thing into something good and still being faithful through the bad parts of life. She really showed an undying devotion to Naomi. And, I feel like a lot of people can't understand that because, this is her mother-in-law. And you hear a lot of things about daughters and their mother-in-laws not getting along. But she left her family that she had in her hometown, and she devoted her entire life and said no. She said in verse 16, "Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay." She was 100% devoted. She made a covenant before God that she was going to stay with Naomi. She really shows us a great example of what our life should be with Christ. She forsaked, and that's a heavy word, meaning she forgot and left everything in her old life, her family, her possessions, her town, or her where she lived. She forsaked that all to faithfully stay with Naomi. And that just is a great example of what we're supposed to do in our lives. We are supposed to forsake our worldly possessions and the things of this world and faithfully follow God and His plan for us. Ruth just showed such a desirable faithfulness to God and to Naomi. It is just something like I could never imagine forsaking everything to follow my mother-in-law around. It's just a crazy leap of faith and just a great example. Ruth showed everyone around her through her life how faithful she was to her word and Naomi and God. And she just, it's something we all should want to attain, is that level of faithfulness. So this week, I just pray for you, and I hope that you'll pray that God will just help you to be faithful like Ruth, and just humble yourself and just pray and beg for the kind of faithfulness that Ruth had, that she was willing to forsake everything and follow Naomi and follow God. So yeah, that's all I have for you this week. But I'll be praying for you that you will have a faithfulness like Ruth. And that's all I have. Thanks.